Hey, let's talk about reassurance and questions. So, if we remember from the worry hill, we have we feel calm, and then we have some kind of a stimulus or trigger, and then here comes our anxiety and our fears. But anxiety tells us to avoid, avoid, avoid. It really demands comfort and certainty, wants things to be smooth and okay. And so then it pops us into this cycle of avoiding, escaping. It wants us to obey it. It wants us to be rescued. We're going to add another thing to this. We're going to add, it also wants reassurance. And sometimes that reassurance comes with a lot of questions, right? Lots of reassurance or questions. This can come in so many different forms. This can be things like, is my backpack full? Like, do I have everything I need? Are you sure? Hey, what time are we supposed to leave? What time are we supposed to leave? When are you going to get home, Mom? And then texting again. When are you getting home? It can be, are you mad at me? Are you sure you're not mad at me? It can be, I think I did a bad thing. I think I said a bad word. And so I think I'm a bad person. Am I a bad person? Because I said that bad word, or I thought that bad word. It can be checking grades. I better get online and check my grades. And I better check them again because it's been an hour. And I better check them again because it's been an hour and a half. And I better check them again. So lots of checking, checking, checking. That's reassurance. When we check with people, when we check with things, checking can also be, I better check the weather. I better check outside and make sure it's not raining. I better check for dogs. Checking, lots of questions, seeking reassurance. This is a classic and sneaky bossiness of our worry. If Tabitha is making me check to make sure I'm okay, it might be things like, you better check and make sure that your sweater looks okay. And so I'm going to ask my husband, is this sweater like too colorful? Should I like not, is it okay if I wear this? Does it look professional enough to be wearing this to work? Are you sure? Okay. Are you sure? Is it okay? But if I know that this is Tabitha, that this is my anxiety, it really doesn't matter. This is actually a false alarm because it's just a sweater. This is Tabitha talking. This is anxiety. If I do the reassurance, the checking, the questions, then I'm getting into this cycle. I'm getting stuck here, and it's going to grow and grow and grow. Like anything that we do, the more that we do it, the stronger or the bigger that it gets. And so we'll be growing this part of our brain. We'll be growing this false alarm system when we obey and we keep on checking and getting reassurance. And so I don't want to ask the questions that she tells me to ask and be checking those things out because I don't want to get her bossier about things. I don't want to reinforce or be growing that false alarm system because it shouldn't matter what sweater I wear. I should just be able to wear whatever sweater. And so I'm not going to ask that. So we want to do the opposite. So I've been putting on my sweater and I'll feel Tabitha saying, you better check, you better ask, like, is this sweater okay? Are you sure it's okay? And I'm going to go, I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask. And that means instead of going up and then immediately down by asking, I'm going to go up. I'm not going to ask. And then it's going to feel yucky at first, right? It's going to be difficult. I'm going to feel nervous and worried and anxious and scared and maybe even pretty awful. But I'm willing to feel all of that because I don't want to grow Tabitha. I don't want to grow that false alarm. I want to make it get smaller instead of bigger. So I'm willing to feel the awfulness because I know that eventually that means it's going to get smaller. It's going to go, this will not feel as awful. It's going to feel better and better and better over time. As I rewire my brain, as I help my brain learn that amygdala and that Tabitha down in that deep part of my brain, as I help it to rewire and to learn that this actually is not a time to have an alarm sound right now. I don't need to worry about if that person is mad at me, if they're talking about me, if this is a wrong sweater, if what the weather is going to be like. I can handle it. I can get through it. Even if somebody is mad at me, I can get through it. Even if my sweater does have a dirty spot on it, or someone comes into my office and doesn't like the sweater, I can manage that. I can get through it. So we want to do the opposite of what anxiety says and stop getting all the reassurance, stop doing the checking, stop doing the questions. So if you are a person whose anxiety has made you check your grades, let's say, 10 times every hour, does that mean that you can never check your grades again? This is up to you, actually. You do what feels comfortable. I'm not going to be the boss of that. And your mom and dad are not going to be the boss of that. You're the one who is going to choose for yourself what you do. You want to stretch yourself. It is going to be a hill. We're going to expect that worry and concern to show up. We're going to expect it to be difficult. But we want that, because that means that we are doing this hard work. We are changing our brain. So you would then choose, okay, I'm going to go from checking 15 times an hour to maybe 5 times an hour, or maybe once a day, whatever you decide. Every person's going to be different, and sometimes every day is different. So you decide what feels like a stretch and a push for you that day. And then you remember, this is hard, but it's worth it because I want my brain to be different. I don't want to keep having this alarm feeling about this thing. I want this to feel better. And then over time, it will get better because you will be rewiring your brain.